Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Dayspring.
And today we are joined by the iconic Lilah Morgan herself, Stephanie Romanov. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, beautiful boys.
Oh my gosh.
So happy to have you on. I have to tell this story. We talked about this a little bit. You didn't realize that you had such a big LGBTQ following, right?
I had zero idea. I don't even know how you looked. After you told me that in the email, I tried to look it up. I found nothing. I was like, I thought, oh, he's just being sweet.
No, honestly, go look at the Instagram post I tagged you because it's a bunch of like gay men being like, oh my God, how'd you get? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I can't even stand it. So I'm so grateful that you invited me to be on this podcast. So I even get to know that I have fans, let alone gay men who are my favorite, but I love gay women too.
Stop it. I'm like so flustered right now. Stephanie, how did you
I
not
love that
know?
you're flustered.
Stephanie, my first date with a boy, I walked in with Lilah Morgan energy. And I cannot, and I don't, Models Inc., Melrose Place, Bergdorf, modeling career. How do you not know you have this massive gay following and that we all love you and we're just like slay icon?
You know what? You're like, I'm about to cry. But swear to God, goddess, gay God, whatever. I had no idea, but I love it because I'm also part of that community. And I feel like we're underrepresented. Like I have all of these kind of philanthropic ideas and that, but I had no idea that they liked me. So I'm grateful to hear it.
Lilah is a bad bitch, and queer folks love a strong woman who stands up for herself.
For sure. No, and that I do know, like, yes.
So yeah, it's like every week we will like rag and like make fun of Angel's character, but it's always like, oh, Lilah's in one scene. Well, we're gonna spend 20 minutes talking about Lilah. Like,
no way.
Yeah.
For real?
Oh, well,
for real?
You chewed the scene. Every scene you were in, you stole the show. The camera had a natural affinity towards you.
Guys, like, I want to just send you flowers right now.
Yes, I will accept flowers from you.
You know what? Give me your address. I'll send it. But for real, it means a lot because I did put a lot of energy and a lot of thought and all of that into Lilah. And I went against what the producers wanted me to do. And I just kind of stood alone. So to hear this means the world to me. I don't know how to find out that fan base. And maybe, after this, you guys can help me because I'm wanting to start work again. But it warms my heart and I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Ian and I have sat down with other thespians and we have created social media plans. Stephanie, we'll take this offline. We'll have lunch.
You swear to God?
Yeah.
I swear on the goddess, a gay god, especially the gay god. Like, and when you swear to the gay god, it's going to happen.
What I was going to say, especially to the gay god and goddesses.
not the heterosexual god. It has to be the gay god. And that's when you know.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I am on the same. I mean, now, anyway, like I'm so great. Yes.
It's you are so sweet. Tell us your origin, how you got the role of Lilah.
So this is a funny story. I had never seen Angel. It was during the first season, and it was towards the end of the first season. And the guy I was dating at the time was a huge Angel fan, which I didn't know until I was like, oh, I have an audition for a show called Angel. He's like, what? Angel? What? So the night before I went to the audition, I saw one episode. And then I went to audition for Lilah. And I can't even remember what the audition was, but when you go in, there's the producers and then there's the director, right? So the director gave me this hideously long amount of notes on my performance. It was just like, and in Lilah fashion, like I can't even do it as well as I did it in the room. I was like, so you want me to do all of that? And he was like, and he was trying, no, I just looked, I was like, I'm just kidding. And I got
nice.
I like slapped him with a Lilah. And they didn't even ask me to do any of those notes. I got the role at that moment. Because it was ridiculous. I was like, I was thinking, what are you, a fucking moron? Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
What are
yes.
you, fucking moron? But I didn't say that. I played him and I played it and then I smacked him. That's how I got the role.
I feel like I feel like people like that kind of like it when you get a little like you like can puff your chest back at them.
If you would have seen his face, no, straight men hate it.
Fair.
Gay men, my best friends have always been gay because we can go back and forth. We can smack each other. I'm like, oh, like they can hit me so hard. I'm like, oh, that was good. Ooh. You do it to a straight person, they're like, where? So the director didn't like it, but the producers liked it, and I got the role.
I love that. When we went through Angel season 1, I actually had forgotten how many different lawyers there were, and you don't come in until towards the end. Were they just kind of rotating out people to see who worked, and like you worked, so they kept you, or? I
mean, that's a really good question. If I had seen the Angel before I got there, I told you I saw one episode and I got the part. Because at that time, I was actually working a lot and I didn't have time I haven't even, not till it came on the TV or whatever, the internet, that I was actually able to see a lot of my work because I was working all the time and you don't have time to see it. And back then, in the old days, it was VHS and I didn't know how to talk. Or maybe I knew, but I was just so.
Because you did Law and Order at the same time, right?
Pardon me?
Didn't you do Law and Order around the same time?
I never did Law and Order. Thank you for your research.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, look at me. This is no, but you were coming off across. You had so much already on your TV.
Sorry, Jesus Christ. I saw that when I looked at your IMDb.
You're not that
I'm
far
sorry.
off. I did the one in Baltimore.
Oh, yes, I think that's what I mix up those. What is it? Boston? Yeah. Boston? No.
Homicide: Life on the Street.
Homicide. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, it's another cop.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're not that far off.
You have such a wonder. I'm sorry, you're going to dive into the story, but Stephanie, can I just tell you, we've done so many interviews in our career as podcasters. Very rare do we have a soul and a spirit like you. Can I just tell you how infectious your energy is?
It really is.
You put such a smile on our face. And for the folks at home who probably don't know, we just hit record, but we've been talking for 40 minutes ahead of this.
Really? It feels like it's been 5 minutes. I love talking to you guys. It's fantastic.
So we're obsessed with you.
Thank you for saying that, because I've been so hesitant to you're going to make me cry because I was so kind.
Stop it. What did we talk about? You had to do an ugly cry. If you're going to cry on this podcast, it needs to be traumatic. Yes. Stop it. What is reality right now?
Ugly cry.
Oh, that's true.
I'm too pretty.
You're too pretty.
I'm pretty sure I have an ugly cry. I'm not sure. I don't look at myself when I'm crying. I don't even know what we're talking about now. I'm not used to all these compliments coming at me, but stop it some more. Stop it some more.
Well, you were looking gorgeous and telling us that's what happened on Homicide.
Oh,
but not as gorgeous as your arms, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. Show me those arms again. Kiss those guns.
Oh my God.
Do it.
And then say, that's
kiss
right,
it. Kiss it. Kiss it, Ian. Kiss him.
Kiss him and then say, that's right, motherfucker.
That's right,
there
motherfucker.
You go, yeah.
God. And now we announce the Slayerfest 98 OnlyFans.
And the winner is...
It makes me blush. Jesus. So anyway, your story about homicide.
Oh, what story? The first story, the second story? So Homicide. So when I had just come off Models Inc. and the industry couldn't believe that they hired someone from Models Inc. to be on Homicide, Life on the Street. But turns out I'm actually a good actor. Turns out. But they hired me telling me that they wanted, because the show is very dark. And they wanted me to come on and to bring light into the show and to make it lighthearted. And the first director and the producers are the ones who hire you. So then on the second episode, I was meant to continue. I only did 2 episodes. And then I can't remember the name of the dude who created it, but he fucking hated me and blackballed me. But he wasn't exactly wrong. But the second episode, it was like I had figured out everything in the scene, and I'm supposed to be the lighthearted person. And then this director suddenly tells me he wants me to like throw shit in anger and like become this. In my whole life ever, I had to go to acting class. I still hadn't got to acting class when I was booking these jobs. It took me a while to learn how to scream, because in my whole life ever, I'd never yelled in anger. Like I never felt anger like that. I know it sounds ridiculous, especially for Lilah, but I was always a very kind person, and I was super logical. Like I didn't understand, like anger just felt like, what are you accomplishing? Like I didn't understand it. So he wanted me to throw shit. He wanted me to get super angry. And I'd never done it in my whole life ever. I'd never even seen anyone do it. And I didn't know how to do it. And I got fired. And then he blackballed me. Ugh. You will never work on my show. You'll never work on another show. And I tried to ask my agent at the time, like, well, but why? Like they told me, now I could fucking do it.
Yeah.
Now I could throw it. But I had to learn how to do that, because if it's not, because a lot of acting is sense memory and things that but I had never in any circumstance, and I come from some dark shit in my early life, but I never ever did that. So I kind of feel bad for them that I wasn't able to, but also mad at them that they hired me to be the light. Like you can feel me, right?
Yeah.
I'm a light character. Like it was fun playing Lilah because I got to be dark, but I still in my whole life ever have never thrown anything in anger at all. I get really cold.
And even in your performance of Lilah, she doesn't get angry. Like she's not a yeller. She would get angry and just get even, is like the way she would show her anger.
No. And I love that you say that, because the producers, they wanted me to make her a caricature of evil, and like this really, and like maybe I should have, I don't know. And they kept wanting me to like do it really big, and I was like, no, true evil is seductive. True evil, you don't see it coming. True evil, you like them, and then bam, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I accomplished that, but I had to fight for it constantly. I was like, oh my God, you guys don't know what true evil is.
But it's not even just about what is true evil. I think your native personality and your acting skills would have lent itself to doing a parody of evil, because I think this is why the Lilah character resonates with so many people, is that we know underneath that tough exterior, there is a big heart. And that's why even if it's not coming across on screen, intuitively, we, the audience, know that there is the way you're approaching Lilah is something with a lot of heart there.
You know what? I've never talked to any of the fans or people like you about that. Is like, again, I'm going to cry again. I'm going to have to ugly cry. That is exactly what I was going for, because I don't believe that maybe Hitler, maybe Jeffrey Dahmer, but I don't believe most people are born evil. I believe that circumstance happens, and there are certain people who break off and they become evil. Some people don't, but Lilah did. So I always wanted her infused with a heart, and to see the soft side, but also that she could fucking kill you in a second, or have someone else kill you because she doesn't want to get her nails dirty.
And say she's not going to get messy.
Doesn't want to break a nail, but she knows who to hire. But thank you so much. Like it actually means a lot to me, because I've never had feedback. The producers never gave me feedback. I don't even still know how to access any of that. So exactly what you said is exactly what I went for. So thank you.
Your last episode, and I'm sorry, Ian, but just on the subject of heart, it's when Wesley was trying to burn the contract, and you look at Alexis and you go, look in there. And then you go, it means something that you tried. I'm getting emotional. The way your voice dropped, your eyes, you're very as an actor, your eyes are so expressive. You can't hide your light. Even if you're playing a villain, you have so much light that radiates off of you. It pours out through your soul.
Ugly cry is about to come. But you know what?
It was so obvious.
In that scene, it was everything I could do to not cry, because I meant it as Lilah. Like it. Look at me, I'm about to cry.
No, I don't want to make Lilah cry.
But I really meant it. I really meant it at that. Like even evil people have emotions.
Well, and
thank you.
That's what draws people to a character like Lilah. I do genuinely think that if you were like, oh, she sucks, she's just evil, she's just mean, like then the character wouldn't resonate, wouldn't have, we wouldn't be talking about Lilah all the time if she was acted by a lesser actor.
I didn't even know that you were talking about her all the time. Can I just interrupt you for 1 second? Because Julie was talking about her character being evil, and she's like, I just felt she was misunderstood. I never felt like that as Lilah. I thought Lilah was evil, definitely evil, playing evil, but there's a story why she's evil. So a lot of times that I've listened to actors and all that when they're playing evil characters, like and I thought Julie, like, I'm not trying to discount her, but I definitely approached Lilah as she is evil, but she's the best kind of evil because she's going to seduce. She knows how to move. She's a smart evil. So I never made excuses for her, but there were experiences that brought her there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, you just mentioned this
Lilah
earlier.
owned it.
you just mentioned this earlier, and I was going to bring this up later because we just covered the episode where Lilah, we cut to her like on the phone with her mom. And like your acting in that scene is so fucking good because Lilah's not, you don't overdo it. Like she's clearly a little shook because it's her mom and that's upsetting. And she's like, no, mom, I called you the other day. No, I don't live nearby anymore. But the way your acting can go from like expressing those emotions of like, this is someone who has a mother who's ill and like, you feel for this character and then go into like evil bitch mode of like changing your voice, changing your like demeanor. It's so good. And that's the shit that like, that's what makes an interesting villain. And I think that's what makes Lilah so interesting is that you can do both. And also they don't, you never try to, there's never an excuse, which I love. I love there isn't an excuse.
Own the evil.
That was intentional. That was intentional. Like, if I'm going to play this woman, like I had my own whole backstory. I can't even remember what it was, but it was most certainly, it came from trauma, right? But also strength. So if I'm going to be a villain, I'm going to own it. I'm not like, oh, I'm damaged or, oh, I have a good heart. No, she doesn't have a good heart. She doesn't like, she's just surviving and she's super. And I always thought of her as really fucking smart.
Yes.
And she was brilliant. Yeah. And she knows how to read people and she plays on that. But even those other than Hitler and, other things, she still has a heart somewhere.
She's still human. Yeah. She has humanity. Yeah.
Do you know where
she's not a vampire? She actually is human.
Yeah.
But do you know where her humanity and her heart shows? And I'm going to tell you this moment where you won the audience forever, and especially with the Wesley romance, was when you were straddling Wesley, when you were on top of Alexis, and you're getting ready to take off the glasses because he wants you to cosplay as Fred, and he says, keep them on. And the way it was so subtle, the way you look, the disappointment that, because Lilah feels for him. This is why this relationship matters. That's why we're kind of rooting for them. You played it like that.
You're bringing up that scene because I felt like, even now talking about it, Lilah was exposing herself to him. And sorry, I don't know why
I'm going to cry now. I know. Oh my God.
But I literally felt that way in that moment. Like, I've never done nudity. I've never taken my top, even though I love nudity. And I think everybody should take their top, but I was raised more. But
Ian, take off your top.
And so I'm not, like, it's not a moral reason, but just the way I was raised, whatever. And so even just doing that with the bra was very exposing for me. And that moment was very painful. Like, why am I crying? What the heck? But I love that you noticed it because it was real.
Because she was there. She was being facetious, but she really loved him. And this was a moment where she realized he was in love with someone else, and it broke her heart. Oh, now I'm going to cry.
Where I think you're wrong about that, I think it's the moment that she realized that she could love.
Oh,
that's smart. Yeah.
So yeah, it was deeper than him love, because she doesn't care if someone loves her. She doesn't love, but it's when she knew that she had those feelings. That was the first time that there was a dent in her armor. Right. Sorry, I'm never going to ugly cry for you.
No.
It's not possible.
No, this is worse. We're actually really crying now. That's it.
No, I literally was, because I love of all of the episodes that I did, that moment was the most painful for me as a person and for Lilah. So I love that you felt that and that you. I'll stop talking.
No, I just feel, I'm sorry. It just, as a young, we've talked about this about Buffy and Angel. It was so smartly written, but a lot goes to the actors. And my brain was still cooking. I was a teenager when I was seeing this happen. To see that level of acting, yes, and you still are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was it.
But to see that level of acting, you don't look old at all. But that level of acting
for an 8-year-old.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. But that level of acting, that craft you brought, it's really shaping to audiences. So thank you for your talent and taking the role seriously.
It means the world to me that you recognize that, because that was very difficult to play for me. And I know, like, I wasn't new at it. Like, I don't know how these other actors do it, and especially for Lilah to be vulnerable, like that was a huge pivotal moment, and that you recognized it and that you're saying other people did. That means the world to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Stephanie, I had a lot of people on Instagram being like, you have to ask her about Lilah and Wes. Like, I love them. Like, so many people were messaging me to be like, are you gonna bring that up? And I was like, yeah, of course we're gonna bring that up.
And it's funny, Fred.
And it's funny because when I was younger and I watched it, I did not like that, only because I was like, Lilah's too good for him. I don't want him with her. She needs someone better.
I thought the same thing. I don't know if I thought that, but I thought it was odd. Like, it's weird. Like, when I found out when Alexis called me, it's like, do you not want to work with me? I'm like, where is this? Like, of course I want to work with, like I told you, nobody called me. Like, I had no idea that they had built the whole season around it.
That's wild. Yeah.
It's so mean, right? It's so kind of condescending. But I was like, no, I love working with you. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I was like, well, no, that's not. And then finally, but we had only had but because I was rewatching season 3, because we were doing this podcast, because I haven't seen it in a long time. I was like, oh, if I had known, but at that time I was falling in love with my husband. We were getting married. We were all this. So I wasn't noticing. I mean, I was definitely devoted to Lilah and that wet stuff. But when the whole, for season 4, this whole arc with Lilah and Wesley.
Leslie's my dad's name, so I always get the two confused.
Oh, perfect. I was like, where did that come from? Did we even ever have a scene together? So then when I was watching season 3, I was like, oh yeah, we slept together. So like my past.
Oh, right. I love that. And a lot of people were asking me to ask you about, because I was also curious, because I know sometimes they plan the plot lines in advance, and sometimes with shows, and a lot of the actors that I've had on have told me this, that with the actors, it will change because they're like, oh, wait, these two people play off each other well, so let's give them more to do. But I love that it was planned in advance, before the season.
They loved it too, but didn't tell me shit.
Yeah, they just didn't let you know.
It would have been nice if I would have been included in the conversation. Listen, instead of making Alexis feel like I didn't want to work with him, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, doing what?
We are retroactively giving
you, by the way,
all your flowers. All of them.
All your flowers.
I said, we're retroactively giving you all the flowers you did not get because you fucking deserve them.
And I'm taking them.
But so, Stephanie, it's so curious to me that you weren't getting that positive feedback, because Lilah was set up at the
feedback. I didn't get negative or positive. I got nothing, like crickets.
So we have the entire love arc with Wesley. You were the main baddie for Wolfram and Hart. And then at the end of season 4, they sort of set you up to be the main liaison. So, then you didn't return for season 5, which was horrific. What happened there?
Their choice. I don't know.
Really?
It was not my choice.
That's so weird. They set you up, and the character they brought in was basically you. It was even Charisma, when she came back, she said Lilah Jr.
Your confusion is my confusion. Like, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I was shocked. Like, it was wild.
I was really hoping you were going to be like, oh, I had great things going on, so I didn't want to. Like,
no, it was them. It wasn't me. I would have loved it. Like, finally, they gave Lilah something cool to do, and then they just. I honestly don't know, but it was a bummer. It was a total bummer. I mean, I was doing awesome things, and then I got my baby, and I did a farm, and I did a lot of philanthropic things, but that me not continuing on had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. That's so wild that is the answer, because I was gonna bring that.
Yeah, I wish I had a better answer. I wish, like, I thought it was weird they did it. Like, I don't, like I told you, they never talked to me. They never, nothing.
Because, like, if they had killed Lilah and they didn't bring you back at all, that would have made more sense. But they literally, you are a ghost and you are already dead, and they bring you back.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
Standard perpetuity clause.
We saw the contract.
Yeah, like maybe they just didn't like me. I don't know.
Impossible.
No, sorry. No, lies.
I wasn't in that season, so something.
I cannot imagine you not being a beacon of light everywhere you go, especially on set. I cannot.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You have such good energy.
You.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm also very strong because they had the producers, Joss and whomever, had definite ideas of how they wanted me to play Lilah. And okay, so here's where my personality and Lilah's personality meet. I knew what they wanted from me, so I kind of said I'd do it. And then when I showed up, I totally didn't do it. I did it the way I thought Lilah should be. So I think, like, there's a bizarre power dynamic when it comes to actors and producers, and especially men, and especially at that time.
Yeah.
And they tried to, like, hold that over me, and I was like, I don't care. That's where I'm Lilah. I was like, fuck you. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. So, but
Thank
what
you.
gave me the courage.
Thank you for your courage. Thank you.
What gave me the courage to do that was I saw an interview with Meryl Streep, and she said directors will come to her and give her notes, and she always says, okay. And then I still do what I'm going to do. So I heard that. And so that's what I did with Lilah, but they definitely were mad at me a lot.
But that is
I did great with Lilah.
Yeah, you did, honestly. That's really, I love hearing that, because you're right, that is such Lilah energy. But also that's fucking smart, because it's like, I'm not gonna bother arguing with this man. Like, and
exactly. So I thank you, Meryl Streep, because that literally, it did give me, I was like, oh, I don't, because you can't go, like, that's even how I got the role of Lilah. I don't think I'd heard the Meryl Streep thing yet, but the director was just saying all this bizarre kind of random shit. And I was like, so you want me to do blah, blah, blah. And I set him up. He's like, and then I can't, like, it was like, I wish it would have been filmed. And because I remember Joss was in the room, and I think, what's the other producer's name? Can you?
Was it David Greenwald?
David Greenwald?
Yeah, David Greenwald. They both are like, that's Lilah.
But that makes sense.
They loved it, but they didn't love it when I was actually on the show. And it's so funny. I was watching one of the Slayerfest things that you were talking about. Like, she was blonde and then she was suddenly brunette. It had nothing to do with the plot scene. It's like, they didn't know me. I just changed my hair the way I wanted to.
I love that.
That was a little bit of a fuck you to them.
Well, especially because at the time, the whole thing going on with Kerry Russell and Felicity, like, the hair was like serious.
Right.
That was such a big deal. Yeah.
That was at the same time. Right.
Look at that BDE you have. Yeah. Oh, big dick energy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you're like, fuck that. Like,
with diamonds. With diamonds.
That makes sense for you.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are diamonds one of your favorite things? I don't know.
Yes.
We may have heard of this.
I don't know. It might have come up somewhere.
Or maybe an iconic line somewhere.
Champagne, green, diamonds. I was reading the script. I'm like, how did they know?
I love that so much. Stephanie, you are such a delight.
Oh, thank you.
There's a reason why you have been our hero for, like, since the show. I'm like so dead right now. I'm like really
You're
red.
making me so happy. I just want us to get into a group snuggle.
Oh, yes.
So,
I won't do anything inappropriate, but I can't say that this won't. You're not going to put that on, right?
I would love to, but I didn't.
You could. There.
That is 100% going in. This is going to be my eulogy. When I die, I want this episode to air, and that's it. My life is complete right now.
I am definitely fearless. And I
No,
do
but you
love
have a great
you guys
energy.
for being so kind, and you guys have great energy. Holy crap. I was so nervous, and you've made me feel so comfortable, and thank you. It's kind of my way of getting back into the world. And I've had other people and stuff say, you know, you should be doing it again. And it's like, I don't know. So you feel like a beautiful invitation.
We will be your Comic-Con queens. We will do everything. Just
Really?
give us a chance to organize. We will do.
God, I'm gonna cry. I don't know.
He and I make a good
cry.
team.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to cry.
I'm too pretty.
I'm not good at doing that stuff, but I would love to. I love meeting the fans. You feel me, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would be great at it, and I would enjoy it.
Well, let's do it. And Ian is a beating heart of a Buffy community, comics, and pop culture. You've built, Ian, you deserve your flowers. You've built such a wonderful community.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I love your arms.
Well, Stephanie,
kiss him, motherfucker, kiss him.
Stephanie, I have been telling everyone how, like, even just emailing with you, I was like, oh, she's fucking cool. Like, I can tell just from emails, you were so nice, and like, you were just like very like normal. You talked to me normal. You know, I thought it was like,
I'm don't tell people I'm normal.
Well, normal, but you know. What's funny is, so I did the Julie Benz interview right before this. Both of you have been, and I've been doing this podcast for 6-7 years. The two of you have been the easiest to deal with folks that I have booked on this podcast. Like,
and
hands
she's
down.
one of my favorite people from the show. Wow. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah,
but wasn't it surprising coming from Lilah?
I didn't know. It's not even just Lilah. I mean, you have such a wonderful career. I mean, you've modeled, you've gone all around the world. I remember your Bergdorf cover, spring, summer, of you in that beautiful, like, burnt red swimsuit. Like, my God. Like,
you know what's funny? Like, I love that it's so random that you remember that, but I was doing a photo shoot on the island for a magazine, and Bergdorf's were there, and they asked if I would just come and do one shot for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wasn't booked for Bergdorf. I was doing Cosmopolitan. I was doing a swimsuit layout for Cosmopolitan, and Bergdorf's were there, and they're like, well, can she come so it was like a half hour, and I just ran and did that shot. So I love that you saw that. Thank you.
No,
that's
I've been
not
obsessed,
common, right? For that to happen, to be like, oh, let's have this model do this other thing, right? Or is that common?
I don't, like I said, like, producers don't talk to me. A lot of actors don't talk to me. I'm usually like dealing with everyday people, and I'm very spiritual. I have a Reiki master. I don't know if you know that. I'm a master of Reiki. I'm also very psychic. I talk to dead people, although I stopped for a while. So I'm not good at remembering all that stuff. I don't know what's typical or not typical, but I just remember that that's what happened. And I had fun because I used to be a dancer. So I had fun kind of leaping through the air in a swimsuit, and I got paid like, a bunch of money. It was like more than, for a couple hours work, way more than an episode of Angel.
Listen, well, when you're gorgeous, it like helps to,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So I was looking at your Instagram, and I saw your daughter looked so much like you. I thought they were old photos of you. Like, you guys looked so much alike, because I knew that you had modeled, and I was
everybody
like,
calls her my mini me.
Yeah.
That's my mini me.
Because I was looking at them, and I was like, oh, wow, these are some really great pictures of Stephanie. And then I was like, oh, wait, this isn't her. This is so weird. It looks just like her.
I'm trying to be better about posting myself, but it's been a while. I'm bizarrely a very shy person. I'm not in the grocery store.
Does not come across at all. Sorry, Stephanie.
No, exactly. But that's the weird thing is I don't come across that way. But so that's why like I don't talk to producers or I don't like I get nervous and shy, but I'll talk to anyone on the street. Like, can I help you with this? Or this, how's your day going? People tell me everything about their lives, their deepest, darkest secret. And I really care and I listen. So I'm good at that, but I'm not good at, you know what I mean?
It tracks. I mean, you were easy to talk to the moment we jumped on this Zoom. It was like,
yay. And other actors aren't like that.
Not all the time.
Stop it some more.
Not everyone is as beautiful and nice and charming as you, Stephanie.
Well, but the kindness is more important. Like the funny thing, here's something I want to say just for all the women out there and for all the stupid men out there. Like, oh, you get older and men don't look at you the same and you're not like whatever they say. Like, I'm grateful for that. Like, I never liked that kind of attention. I feel like I was just being stalked all the time. I'm so grateful when someone can just talk to me as a human. Like, older women are not looking to be looked at the way they were when they were younger women, because that was gross. We just want to be looked at as humans. Yeah. So I don't need to be pretty. I don't need to be sexy. I can't help it that I am. But I had someone say to me, I'm trying to think, it was an interviewer. Like it was a therapist. Oh my fucking God. So she said to me, wait, hold on. I gotta be here. I was dealing with PTSD from my parents' death. So this is why I was going to therapy. And she's like, so are you finding it very difficult losing your looks? I'm like, what?
A woman said this to you?
My parents have died. Not because, like, it's a weird thing. And this was a female therapist, but you've been fed for so long that women care about that shit. And I was like, number one, I didn't know I'd lost them.
No.
Number two, I never, thank you. But I mean, of course, we all notice things that change, but I was trying to deal with the way my parents died with your mom with dementia. You know how hard that is. Like I was having a lot of trauma issues I was wanting to work through. And here I'm with a therapist and they're bringing up my look. I was just like, where am I? Women I never wanted to be looked at that way. Since I was a kid, I was trolled. Like it was awful. And I've always hated it. I looked forward to the day that I wouldn't be looked at that way, you know?
Well, and it's like you said, I think it's true what you said about sometimes other women are just programmed to it. So I think as gay men, sometimes that happens too. Like we just,
most certainly it happens.
It's like we're so used to it. And that's like the way,
I think gay men and women is the same because gay men and women are both going towards men.
Yeah.
And men can do that. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's so funny because in our community,
is that light coming through.
No, by the way, I took
on me.
I took a snapshot of it because the light, you can't escape light, Stephanie. Light just follows you.
Oh,
like, no, it's really good. And like, let me finish this thought really quickly about, one of the things when I was dating that I used to get the question all the time was, are you more feminine or are you masculine? And I'm like, who cares? We're talking.
What
Maybe
does that
just like me. Like, what if I am a little bit more feminine? And like, that just seemed like it was so problematic. It was this devaluing of female characteristics. But can I tell you?
You know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because I had someone say to me recently that I'm masculine. And I'm such a femme girl. I love pink. I love dresses. I love diamonds, but I'm also strong. And I've never, since I was little, I never understood why there was such a huge line between boys and girls. Because I was also an athlete. I was also like a lot of strong stuff. I could defend myself. I think of us, and I always have, as we're human people. And for someone to say to you that, are you feminine? Are you masculine? Like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm both. And and that's like, I've embraced that in myself, but I understand what you're saying. And I wish with all of my heart that kids could grow up just that was normal. because it is normal. People are hiding behind it. Men have been taught from the time they were boys, like, this is what masculine looks like. This is what, and girls are like, this is what feminine looks like. And I never believed any of it.
Yeah. I had this argument with my brother once because my nephew, sometimes I paint my nails, and my nephew was like, Uncle Ian, I really,
love that.
He loved it. And like, he's a little kid. And so he asked his mom if he could paint his nails. And to my sister-in-law's credit, she was like, I'm not good at this, so I'm going to take you to the nail salon. So, because I'm not good at painting nails. So she took him, and my brother got mad. And I was like, are you seriously mad? And he was like, well, she shouldn't have done that. He's a boy. And I was like, so?
So like, what? Like, what?
And I was like, I do that. And he was like, yeah, but you're gay. That's different. And I was like,
no, but it's not different. We're all humans. Like, what the heck?
Right.
Paint every boy's nails, and they do it all the time. No, he's a rock star, or he's whatever.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I've never understood. Like, why? Do you know back a couple hundred years ago, pink was for boys, and now
I didn't
pink
know
is for girls, and it's like, I never understood that whole thing. Like, it's never made sense to me.
And like Roman shit, the like men did have sex with other men. That was like common for them to do that.
Yeah, no, it was actually the Greek.
Right, the Greek. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
I only just read about that. It's not that I'm so smart. I just read about it the other day.
But also, you're so smart.
They were asking why was it okay for in Greece homosexuality or bisexuality, but not with Romans? And the answer I thought was really interesting is because the Romans conquered them. And when someone conquers a people, they try and shame them in some way or shift. This is why we're better.
Right.
So it's just about some weird rant. But I think all of us should be bisexual or gay. I mean, I don't think we should all be gay because then we wouldn't have kids. But now we could actually.
You're preaching to the choir here, so.
But I think bisexuality is about loving everybody. Being gay or being straight to me is the exact same thing.
And I guess to church.
Or you're straight, you're that. If you're bisexual, you like everything. But a lot of women don't like bisexual girls. I'm just telling you.
I have learned that with a lot of queer women I'm friends with. Because I have a friend.
What did they tell you? Why did they hate us?
Well, the only reason I know that because I have a friend that there was like this gay bar.
You have a friend?
It's crazy, I know. So Stonewall is like the gay bar in New York. Oh my God, I'm gonna kill both of you.
I'm gonna send you this photo. You're gonna be shocked if you ever, not that you did, but if you ever question what you're on this planet for, this a little screenshot right now epitomizes that.
You know what? I've never questioned it since I was a little kid. I knew that I was put on earth to make people happy. And you guys are going to make me cry. I don't know why I'm so open to you guys, but for real life, like, who can I make happy today? I remember walking to school, like, I've always known. And my nickname at my parents and even my first boyfriend, they called me Sunshine.
No, yeah, that's nice. That it makes sense though. Like, I don't know. I have dealt with a lot, and I know you have too, like dealt with a lot of actors and people that are not always.
That's a really kind way of saying it. Yes. But for me, like, it's also to be selfish. It's a beautiful way to walk in the world, to walk in sunshine and to look for the beauty in people and to listen to them and to see them. I've really enjoyed, like, I felt like, and I was raised Mormon and they don't believe this at all. I felt like I'd come back from another lifetime, but that I was gone for a really long time. And I was super happy to be on the planet.
Thank you for being on the planet and the way you walk.
Yes, I
appreciate that you appreciate me.
So I did ask some of my Patreon subscribers on Discord if they had any questions for you, and I have some of them. A couple of them you've already answered already, though. Was there? I mean, you a little touched upon this, but was there a writer for the show that you felt wrote Lilah, like you?
Mare
Smith, yeah.
She's a rock star, and I should, like, I want to send her flowers. Like, she's still writing. She was awesome.
It's now that you're reminding me, because she's a writer that I actually have wanted to have on. And now I'm like, oh, now I should have her on, now that you're like telling me.
You know what? And if you do get it, like, I would like to just sing her praises. She wrote me so well. Like, she was awesome. I think she was in charge of Lilah, kind of.
Okay. That's cool. There was a writer from Buffy who wrote a few episodes of Angel, Jane Espenson. And she has talked about the specific character she loved writing on Buffy like the most. And I always am intrigued to see who like more, not even identified, but just
and
liked
I would
writing.
love to hear what Mara says. Yeah. And if you do talk to her, tell her how much I appreciated her.
I will. Yeah. No, I love that. Adam. So that was Agent M on our Discord. Adam Strawn asked, what was your favorite memory from being Lilah? Like your favorite Lilah moment?
That's a hard one. There are so many.
I love you going into your Lilah voice.
Oh, did I see? Can't even help it. This is ridiculous, but I was on and felt like, shut up. Like she said, like in my whole life ever, I'd never said that. So that was a favorite moment. I got to actually say something mean like that. It's so simple. But like afterwards, I was like laughing. I was like, I just actually told someone to shut up.
Yes.
I love that.
Hold on, let me just think. I know that there was another one. I mean, I think that was my favorite Lilah moment. I don't know. I can't remember the other one. Because a lot of this shit that she said, like, I would never even, like, not even that, how sometimes, like, you want to say something, but you don't? I never even wanted to say it. Like, so the stuff I got to say as Lilah was like, oh. That's the only one that I can remember because I was like, I just told someone to shut up.
I like that was a big deal.
That is personal victory.
What's your favorite moment, Lilah moment?
This keeps coming to mind, but I don't. This is what just at the top of my head, but I don't know that I would. Ask me when we finish going through the series again, and maybe I'd have a different one.
But right now.
Honestly, I mean, you've quoted it, but it always is in my mind of my favorite color is green. I look good in diamonds and I like riding in limousines because it's just. That
was really fun because my favorite color since I was a kid was green. Oscar the Grouch was my favorite character on Sesame Street. He had a garbage can and a grand piano. I mean, come on. What? Who doesn't like diamonds and gems? So I was like, yeah, that was fun. I liked that moment a lot because I was like, and I hadn't told anyone for years that my favorite color was green. Like it was interesting. Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you know what that scene though? You were acting opposite of Eliza. And what was that energy like? She was just coming. How do you remember that day when you guys were filming, having this iconic line?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Tell us. A hot motherfucker. I thought she was so cute. And she's younger than me. Like back then, like a couple of years felt like a long time. Like I don't think that she's a huge amount younger, but I thought she was super sexy. I thought she was super fierce. But she was very much like her, like she walked in the world, kind of like Angelina Jolie back in the day. Like they were kind of like, I played tough, but I'm not tough. She really was that tough thing. And I just loved her. And I loved all of it. Would have slept with her in a second. After I was married, not allowed to.
I was going to say, so she was one of the first, like before I did this podcast, I met her at like one of the Comic Cons and I was very surprised that she basically was Faith. And she came up to me when we were doing, it was like when they did pictures at the tables, not the like fancier ones. She just like crossed over her table, put her arm around me, looked me up and down and went, "You're really cute." And I was like, "Oh my God."
She gave you the...
She sniffed the bottom.
Yeah. But she was like that on something. Like I remember, like it's so funny because you're trying to act your part as Lilah. And then you're also a human watching her.
Right.
And she was like, I'm supposed to be like really tough and that. And I'm like, ooh, she kind of scared me a little bit. But she didn't scare Lilah. So it wasn't interesting, but I'm a huge fan. I just think she's fantastic.
I love that. Hannah asked, which you kind of mentioned, how did you maintain the Lilah's balance of self-assurance with her moments of sympathy and vulnerability?
Because they all live within me.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely, I'm not as evil as Lilah, but I have evil moments for sure. I have evil thoughts, sort of.
Who's among us?
A little bit. But I feel any human And because she was one of the few characters who is human, or I guess there are some other people who are human.
You know,
I mean, it wasn't difficult to balance that. I played it as a real human.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's more I want to say, but I don't even know how to express it. But I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
I didn't play her as a cartoon. I played her as a real human who was flawed and mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it briefly before, but like the episode Billy, when you and Charisma are together, like that scene is really great, and it's enjoyable watching these two. Like,
and it was so much fun to play because I think it's the only time she and I had a scene together in all of the episodes in the whole run.
No. She killed you.
She killed you.
But not
like
not
a scene.
then.
Yeah.
Like at that moment.
At that moment. Yeah. This was the first time you two were meeting.
Talking about at that. Yeah. I remember she killed me, motherfucker.
Because we love Charisma, but she killed our icon. Absolutely.
Exactly. But at that moment, she hadn't killed me yet. And that was the first time. She's also from Vegas. So like behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like I really liked her and I would watch her on set and I enjoyed her acting and that. And so then when we got to play that, I just had a lot of fun doing it. It was one of the only light scenes. Lilah didn't do that diatribe with anybody else.
Yeah.
It's the only time in the season I can think of that we did it and she was in this. And I love that because I just watched it when I was deep diving for this. I was like, oh, I forgot. I was like, no, it's coming out next spring or whatever.
Yeah.
He's rounded out the toe and squared the heel. Yeah. It was so just good. Iconic. But
and it's oh, God. Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I love the energy you and Charisma had. And one of my favorite Lilah moments was the episode where you die, where you're like, spare me all of the Saint Cordelia stuff. And Cordelia says something. And then you look at her and you go, it's you. You were there to reveal that she was Beast's master. And that was such a pivotal moment. And the way you delivered that line with, aha, I figured it out. Because Lilah was always a step ahead.
I'm going to have to rewatch that. Like, as you said that, bizarrely, like I got chills down my, I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. I'm going to have to watch that again.
Yeah.
But I remember like I definitely put my heart and soul into playing that. And when the realizations happened and I'm so grateful that you felt that.
Well, but you know what, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Again, going back to what you were saying, being underappreciated, that was a big reveal in that moment. And that was very, Whedon-esque to drop these big revelations subtly. I'm just surprised they gave you that. They put you so much setup. I'm surprised you just didn't get those flowers.
You know what? You and me both. But I'm getting them right now. And you know what? Nothing wrong with that.
You got two gay guys on the other coast that love you. So listen, when you got up to shut your door, it was the camera focused on your paintings. And I love that it was like, it focused more in on them. Did? And tell everyone about,
tell us about it.
Tell us about your art. Yeah. Cause I love both of them.
Thank you. And I have others. So it was a couple years, these are from a couple years ago. And I went I've been, like I said, I was living on a farm and doing all that stuff. And I was raised knowing how about soil and all. My mother was great about all that stuff. So I was kind of living her life doing, because I never I want to be fabulous. I want to be in New York. I'm living on a farm, like, okay, I know how to do this. And so I was doing all that stuff. I don't know why I digressed to that about the painting thing, but so what I was saying, so I wasn't acting, wasn't modeling, wasn't doing anything creative. Well, I was doing some things creative, but then a couple of years ago, right before COVID or right during COVID, I suddenly, I get bursts of visions. Like sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's art, sometimes it's whatever. And I had a burst, sometimes it's writing, and I had a burst of creative painting and mixed media. And I did in a 3-week period, probably 12 pieces that were kind of fantastic. And then a friend of mine who knows the art world showed it to a gallery, and I was put in a gallery with 8 top women artists, which was so kind
cool.
of awesome. So hold on, I'm going to show you.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, look at that.
That's beautiful.
The most feared woman. So this is actually wood, body, tree. This is actually a tree that looked like a woman. And then I took a picture of my daughter's butt and then I made it. And then this is water. So it's about emotion, about being grounded. And so if you're in your emotions and you're grounded like the wood, you're the most feared woman because men don't know what to do with you.
Oh, I like that. I like
So
that.
what a powerful message.
And then this one is self-explanatory.
Yes. That's the Lilah collection.
Badass. I don't know if you can see the big ass on it.
Oh.
My actual ass.
Yes. Slay. Yes.
I was doing my iPhone and it was really big.
As gay men, we understand how hard that can be to take the ass shot.
Right? It's really hard. Like,
Gross.
and then I've got some other, like I had other stuff my husband said I was too heavy handed. I was like, but I have to talk about shit I've been doing for 20 years since I wasn't acting.
we want to hear it all.
Yeah, no, I love hearing this.
But I had a definite, but it was all, the thing about my art is all with a purpose. And I definitely had something to say. And I think it was around the Me Too movement and all of that. Most feared woman, badass. I also have, can't even remember, but it all had to do with female empowerment, Black Lives Matter. Oh, can I move this? I can show you one of my other favorite ones.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking about my art.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You're so talented.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I couldn't hear you.
Put us on speakerphone. We'll do it. We'll say it again.
Send you voice memos of us complimenting you.
They'll be like, yes. We're like, yes. So talented.
You're so talented. You're so nice. Wait, can you see?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
That's really nice. Oh wow. Is that mixed media as well, or is that a straight up painting?
Yeah. It's all mixed media. So the flag stuff, I just got a flag and I took a bunch of pictures and I ripped it up and I put it in the hand, and that's actually my body. So this is my Black Lives Matter because I'm wearing black.
Okay.
And this is America in tatters, and this is money, my dad gambling. Like it was, so every piece I make has an emotional
I love that.
story to it. And then this one, can you see this one?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love the colors. I love the body. Look at that.
So it says, don't look at me.
Oh my gosh.
And to me, that's also kind of like the modeling thing. Also just being a girl.
Yeah.
That you want to, like, she's in a very provocative position. So of course you're going to look at her, but she doesn't want you to look at her. Like when they say, well, you shouldn't have dressed that way. You shouldn't, like, but we're women and we're girls and we're trying to figure out our sexuality. And like, why can't we be like that without you wanting to rape me?
You know, there's this, I forget what his name is, but there's this guy on Twitter. I think he might be gay, which probably would track because he's like very like, he'll talk about fashion that way. And there was, some asshole being like, oh, these women go to concerts and they're dressed like whores. And the guy did a whole like thing about women dress for other women. And they're like you just said, they're like figuring out their sexuality. Cause it was like young girls. I think they were like in their 20s. And it was like all about how these women aren't dressing because they want men to look at them. They're like figuring out their style and their look. But
not just that, their bodies are changing during that time. So they're trying to figure it out. And they're also being kind of tagged in watching older women. Like they're trying to figure out how to be a woman. They're trying to figure out what their body actually looks like. It's so weird because my whole life long, I've always read that they're doing it for attention. And I still hear men saying that. I was like, no, we're not. We're just human. I was going to say girl, boy, people trying to figure out how our bodies are and what we want to do. And I think it crosses over. And maybe this is why the LGBTQ community loves me, because I believe that all of us, whether we're a boy or a girl or a they or a them or whatever, we're trying to figure out ourselves.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out our bodies. Our bodies are, and especially at that time, your bodies are changing. And so you're trying to figure that out as well. And then there's the biological stuff that, there's some of it that's the bird calling, but you don't know it then.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's way more innocent, like calling them whores and me. Like, it's just awful.
One of my favorite stories of my mom's and this was like only a few years ago, her and my dad went to like their favorite Italian restaurant. And so my mother was like a very like caricature of like a older Puerto Rican woman. And they had gone to their favorite.
I met your mom.
She actually was who got me into Buffy and Angel. She watched it first.
No
and she
way.
Like, yeah. And I used to be like, Mom, that's like not your age group. And she'd be like, so what? I like them. And like, she loved Lilah. She loved all the like strong women. But so they came back from dinner. It was when I lived in New York and I was visiting, and she was like, oh, Ian, the hostess was wearing the most low cut top with the shortest skirt and these boots up to her knees. And I thought, oh, I miss dressing like that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
That is not the tagline I thought you were going to say. But
Yes.
I totally love that. I think we should all like, I can't believe that you can get a PG rating with a ton of murders and killing people. But if you show a body, it's R. I was like, what the heck? Like, what's wrong with our society? Men, straight men, not gay men, but straight men, that they've made it. And I think it's a way of them controlling their fear of not being able to hold a woman.
Yeah.
We got rid of all the fear of expression, of being. We would all live so much better and we'd have so much more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be cohesive, but it would be fun.
It's so much easier to just be chill about it. And what do you care what this person's doing or this? But like,
why don't you care that people have fun? Like, what if we like take that instead
fun
of not
and happy?
How about caring about us all having fun and expressing? And maybe I want to be 55 and wear a short skirt. Maybe I want to be 15 and wear a short skirt. Maybe I want to be a boy who wears nail polish and a skirt, like maybe like, and it should be celebrated.
Yeah,
exactly.
Expression where we only get to be out, like maybe we get to come back a couple of times, but we only get to be on this planet this one time in these bodies this one time. So I've never understood why people make it so hard.
Yeah,
or so judgmental. Like, but for what? Who are we hurting?
Stephanie, take us to church.
Mm-hmm.
A thing I will say.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that, but it is a very spiritual thing for me, and I believe it. So I wasn't trying to be.
No.
Okay.
Do not call yourself preachy if you're gonna. No, we meant it in a good way. That's a compliment.
No. It was a compliment. You gave. I mean, you are saying what needs to be said more and more. Who the fuck cares? Let people have fun. Let them be themselves. That's it. They're not harming you.
To me, it's the most creative expression and smart, intelligent, that they're not caged in. So I hope, like, let's preach it to everybody.
No, and it's also really nice. And another compliment to pay you, not to overload you with them, but 3
hours later.
I have like an empty leg that I can just.
But it's also nice to see, like, I loved watching Lilah on TV. And, like I said, even when I was younger, it was like, I don't want her with Wesley because she's too good for him. Like, that was why I didn't like that. And it's so nice to like hear an actor that I have admired for so long to say these like wonderfully progressive things and not be a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, because many people, sometimes people just like, like my dad has gotten more conservative as he's gotten older. And my dad was, when I came out, was like, okay,
same with my dad. Yeah.
Didn't like phase him at all. He was super cool about it. But then as he got older, now he's like a grumpy conservative man, which I think happens a lot with men though.
But and women, it happens with men. Like, it's still like even now I can barely talk about it because I'm so shocked. Happened with my parents. I was like, what? Like, I don't understand it, but I know it. Like, there's things you don't understand, but it's true.
Yeah.
Right. but we're not those people. I'm definitely not going to get more concerned. I'm going to I can't wait to be older that I can just say wild ass shit all the time. But mine's going to be, instead of like the super conservative, super liberal. Let's all be naked. Woo!
Stop. I'll join that circle. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
please.
God.
I look forward to our commune that we're all going to have together.
I was about to say that. Let's just have a commune, run around naked. Like that's it. And watch Angel on repeat.
No, I'm actually very shy, but I like everybody else being naked. I'll wear clothes.
It's so funny because my dad's family is like super, super conservative, but my mom's family never was. And even my mom and my aunt would make fun of their mom because they said she got more liberal. They would be like, Mom, you weren't this liberal when we were younger. And she'd be like, I was stupid when I was younger. It's fine. I grew up. Like, she actually like got more progressive as she got older.
And you know what? I feel that she was less liberal when she was younger because that's what she was told you had to be with your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And like, that's why my mom and my aunt actually said, because they were like, well, growing up, your grandma wasn't this loose with rules back then. But then with their kids, they were, because they didn't like the like strict rules and all that. So like with their kids, they were a lot less strict.
And gratefully, my parents were like that as well, that they were very liberal with us and liberal with me. Like they allowed me, I mean, coming from my mom from very strict kind of Mormon background and my dad Catholic, they never put those constraints on
which is nice.
Their children. And they said, like my mom used to say, I loved going to church, by the way. I loved church. I went to everybody's church. I went to the Baptists. I went to the Lutherans. I went to catechism. I went to temple. I wanted to learn about everybody's church. Take me to church.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes.
But the one
I'll
thing
sit in your pew.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, wait. I'm dead. When we meet IRL, you're gonna have to sign that water bottle. We're gonna sign it and we're gonna frame it.
But the one thing that I found, like I did love going to all the church, and I did love going to my church. I just didn't believe them. I didn't believe any of them. I didn't believe all the things that they said were sins. I was like, really? I remember when I went to catechism, like I feel bad for the other kids. I was like 11. I feel bad for all the other kids because me and the priest would go back and forth on shit, things that are sins. I'm like, really? I don't think so. And then in the Mormon religion, you'd have to go and talk to the bishop, and they would ask me, I was so innocent. Like, have you done heavy petting? I'm like, do you mean, have I pet my dog really hard? Like, I didn't even know what they were talking about. And they'd be like, okay, never mind. And then, so one time the bishop calls me in, because you always have to be called in, or at this age, this was my first time being called in.
Okay.
The other thing was at a camp, but he was asking me, he's like, have you French kissed your boyfriend? And I was like, yes, I have. And he's like, how do you feel about that? I was like, oh, I thought it felt good. And so all of his stuff, like he was blushing and he never called me in again. Because I had no shame. I didn't know I was supposed to have shame.
That's actually really fucking cute. Like,
obsessed.
And I remember him blushing. I was like, you asked.
One of my like
of going to the parties at school and telling them that they shouldn't be doing that, and me at my church telling them, you should be letting us do that.
I like that you flipped it when it's with the priest, but when it's with the kids. One of my badges.
I think sex and kissing is good, but right. Drinking and not knowing your future was bad. Well, not bad. Just, what are you going to do with your life?
Yeah. One of my badges of honor was I went to a Catholic school just for 2 years, and my mom ended up getting in an argument with the principal, so she pulled me out. But my first year of religion class, the nun was talking about how abortion is a sin, it should be illegal, blah, 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 all that. And I remember I said to her, well, what about rape? And she said, well, you make a good thing out of a bad thing, and you have the baby. And I said, but that's really ridiculous. And she kicked me out of class.
I love that you said that.
You make a good thing out of a bad thing. Right. So what's missing there is rape is awful. Like she should have, like if a kid said to me that, I'd say, you know what? It's a really good point. Rape is awful.
Right.
And there's a lot of things to unpack here. And what was the power dynamic? Like I would go into all that other stuff and why should, because here's what I feel. And here's what I know for a fact. We drop eggs all the time as women. Men give out sperm all the time. Every single one of those sperms, every single one of those eggs could be a baby.
Right.
So if it accidentally happens one time, and I remember when I was younger, I thought, if a soul is supposed to be here, it'll get here. But it doesn't have to be from the rape, and it doesn't have to be from incest, and it doesn't have to be. That soul can come through another time.
No, I
love
that's
that.
Really,
I have chills.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful
chilling
way.
how you said that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I just like as a kid, I remember my mom. I remember like when I was a lot younger, I had asked my mom about it, and she just flat out said to me, when I was a teenager, one of my friends got kicked out by her parents because she was pregnant. She tried to perform an abortion and she died. Like she tried to do, and my mom just always told that story. And so even as a kid, I was like, oh, okay, then that's bad for them not to be able to get access to that. And like, that's all I needed as a child. That was all my mom needed to tell me. And it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense why you.
And yet the grownups in our government are not getting it, that it's about women's health. And I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole. I have so many thoughts on it.
But yeah, no, I was really thankful that my mom was like that liberal with us growing up.
Really, but also to me, that's not even liberal. It's common sense. Her fucking friend died.
Right? Like,
I'm sorry.
I feel like you hear that. Like, I can't imagine anyone hearing that story. I mean, like, well, that's what happened. Like she died. And it's like, don't you feel bad? Like, don't you feel compassion?
And a lot of them don't. Like, no, she shouldn't have done it. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that'll be another 2
but
hours.
But another time I would happily, because I definitely have a lot of very strong feelings about that.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much. You were an absolute delight.
Slay.
This was great.
Slayerfest.
I'm cutting every time you do that. That's going to be a little clip that I cut. So Stephanie, let everyone know where they can find you on Instagram.
Romanov Stephanie. And I invite all of you to, I don't know how to message back, but I'm learning.
Well, I will be tagging you in more things, and
yay!
I look forward to us chatting again sometime.
Me too, very much. Both of you. That Absolutely. You just have made me so happy, both of you. I've enjoyed talking with both of you so much, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
I wish both everything.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.